Hi, I'm Daz and I'm going to show you how to install some Kraus hybrid flooring. Just to tell you a little bit about this product, we have a 100% waterproof surface, pet friendly, pre-installed underlay, but it's very easy to install. In saying that, there's some accessories that you need for that, and I'll run through some of those with you. So we have a rubber mallet, we have some tape, cutting knife, ruler, tape measure, pencil. Some spacers are important, which I'll go through later on, and there's also a tapping block. And lastly, let's think of safety, and we're going to go with some knee pads. All right, let's get stuck into it. All right, and part of your subfloor prep is making sure that you've got your 200 micron sheet down. You cut it, you tape it, you lay it flat, acts as your moisture barrier for prior to your install. Now, a little tip for you guys out there, open up 3 or 4 boxes at a time, pull the boards out and have a look at the detail, look at the knots, and look at the way that the texture mixes, so when you lay your floor, it's more authentic with all your patterns staggered out. Now when you're starting your install, we're going to go from left to right. The reason is because you've got this edge here, that's what we call the male end, that's the tongue end. That's the part where we're going to add. This runs along the edges. The bottom part here is the female edge, which goes against the wall. So essentially, our next board's going to go out this way and then forward. Now, when you're starting, one of the best things you can do is say, look, 3 boards, where do you cut them? Always good to start with your first board as your starting board. And when you get your next board, cut in half. You get your next board, you cut it in thirds, which I'll show you afterwards. But when you've got the guillotine, it does the cuts really easy for you, nice and fine. Now you may not always have a guillotine, and that's okay, because today I've got a set square, make things a little bit easier and show you how you mark your board so it's a perfect 90-degree cut. Using a blade, I'll show you how to do it nice and simple. Line up to where we need to do our line mark at the pencil. Perfect 90 degrees. Trusty knife. All you have to do is score it, not a lot of pressure. You just want to cut through the wear layer, which is barely any pressure. See, following that line, cutting it all through. And here's the fun part, turning it over, putting pressure right on that cut, bang, snap, and away you go. Okay, so as you can see, we're a few rows in, and just to point out, that expansion gap is 10 mil, which is your requirement. So perfect if you want to put your skirting over it, perfect if you want to have scotia, but at least you know that it's all lined up with your walls. Now, in terms of locking your boards in, as you can see, the pattern's nicely staggered. We're going to show you again that male edge, that tongue piece there, that's part where we're going to lock in the second board in. So 15-degree angle, on that angle till you feel it nice and snug. If you're not sure, give it a bit of a slide. Once you feel that's locked in, a little bit of pressure. Sometimes you can use the block if you really need to. You won't need to all the time, but just for that peace of mind, if you're not locked in, perfect for your next board to then lock in after that. So now you've got your stagger patterns going. We're going to start with our starting board. We lock in the next board and we go over and over and over repetitiously. So this action is the same thing that you're going to do throughout the row. Get the end board, you lock in end to end, you drop that down, apply that pressure when you're lifting on that angle. See how easy that locks in, and just a peace of mind if you need. You've got your hammering block, give it a tap, locks in nice and perfect every time. Now you're always going to come to a point where you need to know, how much do I cut off of an ender? And this is where you've got a board comes up to the end of your wall and you say, well, what do we do? First thing you can do is this, really simple. You can get a tape measure. You can measure your part to your wall, making sure that you're factoring your 10 mil expansion gap. Copy that measurement, put it to the end of your board, mark it, cut it, away you go. It can be a bit technical, but here's a much easier way to do it. You get your tongue end and you match it with your tongue end. Place it up against the wall, you get your pencil, you mark right where the edge of the tongue is, I've got done there. That's the part where we cut. Makes it much easier to work with. Say if you don't have a tape measure handy. And then you'll find that every time you cut that bang on, it'll be perfect. So if you slide that in ready to lock, you can see, bang. So it's going to come to the end of your job where you need to fit your aluminium trims for your doorways and transitions. This is where you're moving from floor to tile, floor to carpet, anything else where you need to cover that, and that's what these are perfectly suited for. Your aluminium trims, that type 1 would be a C channel. This is where it slides straight into the board. You've got your expansion gap allowance, which is perfect, and that edge is perfect if you want to lay your tile, your carpet. Perfect little seam. Alternatively, you have what you call a cover trim. This cover trim here is designed really to adequately cover one side to the other. Really easy. Sits there right in the middle. You'll fix that down. That's a perfect way to hide your seam where you've got carpet, lino, tile or anything else. They're the two best choices that you can use for you doing your install. So always remember, when you're doing install, safety is important. Always have knee pads. So using all the right tools, following the method, you really can't go wrong with this product. Now, if there's anything that you like that you saw in today's video, just reach out to us.